Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to welcome Dennis Richardson, Republican gubernatorial candidate. Dennis, good to see you. How are you today?
Doing great today.
Good to have you back. It's only been a couple weeks. It's very nice. So tell us, first off, it's been 30 years, nearly 30 years, since Oregon has had a Republican governor. What makes you think you can end that drought?
Well, timing is a huge part of this. And after a period of time, the citizens finally decide whether or not what they're doing is leading them where they want to be. And so right now, we have the Democratic leaders, and they control everything. And we have unemployment higher than the national average. Our school systems we have great teachers, but we have 48th in the nation in graduation rates. I mean, nearly a third of our students aren't graduating with their classmates. That's unacceptable. We have Uncover Oregon, which is just a sample of fraud, waste, and abuse, where it's going to end up being over $300 million of federal money and state money that gets wasted on a website project. We also have the CRC, the Columbia River Crossing Bridge, $175 million, not a single cubic yard of concrete that has been poured. We also recently, you may not even heard about this one, $71 million wasted on a Department of Human Services website project. The people are not going to take it anymore as they find out that we have leadership that is out to lunch. I mean, they're in Bhutan learning how to be happy instead of focusing on what we can do to make our state better. As this message gets out, it's resonating across the state, and most of the people that I talk to do not want a fourth term for a governor who's failed to perform and failed to keep the promises that he's made.
State representative from Central Point, of course. So tell us how you're going to get the Portland market, where the vast majority of Oregon's residents live. How are you going to get them to get to know you over these next 5 months?
Well, actually, Kathy and I are moving up there tomorrow. I mean, we're keeping our home in Central Point,
sure,
but we've got a place up in the Portland area. We will be up there almost all of our time. I mean, we'll come back for visits and for meetings with and dinners occasionally with our grandkids. But it's about being there, being a part of the community, attending and seeing what the Portland school systems are like, because they're losing in some areas 50% of their students. We're meeting with businesses and with people all across Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington counties, because that's where there's such a concentration of voters. They need to know who I am for the vision that I have for the state and why they need to make the change.
All right, very good. We're going to take a quick break. Much more with Mr. Richardson in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Republican gubernatorial candidate Dennis Richardson. Mr. Richardson, you argued against giving same-sex couples many of the same rights as married couples in the legislature some years ago. Now, with gay marriage being legal in Oregon and the possibility of recreational marijuana being on the ballot this fall, Oregon seems to be trending to the left. Where would you fit in as a socially conservative governor?
Well, the issue on marriage equality has already been decided. The judges have already determined that there is not going to be that separation any longer. I have friends, neighbors, and relatives on both sides of that issue. I respect all of them. And as governor, I will take seriously my oath to enforce the laws of the state of Oregon. It's not for me to make those decisions. It's for me to be the CEO of the state and ensure that the laws that the people and the courts have decided are implemented and enforced. And that's what I'll do.
Okay. All right. Now, after the Sandy Hook shootings, and perhaps this is in that same area, you got a lot of attention nationally for arguing or for calling the support for teachers to be armed. Now, is that something you would pursue if elected governor?
As governor, I'm not going to have a whole lot to say about that. Every school district already has the power, the authority under Oregon law to implement their own safety procedures. Many of them have been considering whether or not it made sense for someone to be armed on campus in case the issue of somebody coming on who wants to do mass violence actually takes place on their campus. It's like the unthinkable thing, except that it continues to happen. And does it make sense that somebody who's mentally ill has the intention of killing is the only person that's armed? I think the school districts, the principals, the parents need to make those decisions. It's not for me to make. It was for me to bring up that something needs to be done rather than just say, we don't want guns on our campus, only to have the shooter be the person who's armed and no one else. So I think every school district will make that decision, and for me, it's just to enforce the law. Okay.
All right. Now, what do you want to say to people watching at home, moderate and independent voters, who may be unsure about supporting a conservative Republican come fall?
Well, I think that it's important that you elect someone that you can trust who will work to get things done for the state. I've been in the legislature for 11 years. I was elected unanimously by the Democrats and Republicans as Speaker Pro Tem in my second term. I've been co-chair of Ways and Means. I know where the money is at. I know how it's being spent. I warned the governor a year before the failed launch date of Cover Oregon that it was going to fail if he didn't get involved and take action. He didn't take the advice. He didn't get involved. And now we've spent almost $300 million on a failed website project. We can't afford 4 more years of Governor Kitzhaber.
Okay, and moving forward with the economy, what would you do, what would be the first thing you would do as Oregon's governor to improve our economy?
Well, the first thing we do is we identify what the barriers are and why we are unable to have new companies come in and innovators and entrepreneurs be able to expand their companies. We have a reputation nationally as being unwelcoming to businesses, and that's wrong. I exported 4 of my children to other states to get a decent job. They couldn't stay here because there wasn't enough work. We should be exporting more products and services to countries around the world rather than merely just trying to increase tax rates. What I say is we don't need higher tax rates, we need more taxpayers. That means jobs and a better, more vibrant economy, and that can be done, but only with new leadership.
Good to see you again. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.